Why is it that religious entertainment usually isn't very entertaining? I mean, you're trying to get the good word out to your audience, so why not have some genuine wit or good writing to back it up? Well, there are plenty of bad Christian video series that have been hilariously covered by channels like Cringe Vision and Everything is Terrible. I've also seen a few dreadful Jewish and Muslim videos as well. I feel like maybe the people directing these mistake humor for offensive edginess, and, well, that's just stupid, let's be real here. That's why Big Idea Entertainment is so impressive. With their shows like VeggieTales and 321 Penguins, they prove that you can actually have a religious show that's also entertaining. With solid voice work, catchy songs, and jokes that were often genuinely funny, somehow these shows managed to pull it off. The fact that they retold the story of David and Bathsheba as a story about a king obsessed with rubber ducks, and that it actually worked, should be proof enough. Now, I'm uploading this Christmas Carol themed video in April, so it's obviously nowhere near Christmas. But fear not, because the Veggies have us covered. In 2004, they released An Easter Carol, which was a sequel to 2002's already Dickensian Star of Christmas. The Scrooge character was played by Mr. Nezer the Zucchini, who often portrayed misguided characters who needed to be shown the light, making him a shoo-in for the role. Also, I just wanted to throw in a clip here that shows how surprisingly sinister for a religious kids show Mr. Nezer could be.
What's that over there?
That's the furnace.
What's it for?
Well, that's where the bad bunnies go.
Let's just say, in my mind, if you don't bow down and sing the song, you're a bad bunny.
You don't mean...
But I'm sure that won't happen.
In this story, Ebenezer Nezer is an Easter tycoon who loves the holiday of Easter but lacks any actual understanding of the real story, despite his late grandmother's repeated attempts to teach him about what it really meant. On her deathbed, his grandmother tried one last time to teach him that Easter means no death. However, Nezer interpreted that as long as he always sold Easter eggs, he'd keep her memory alive. This comes to a head when he decides to tear the church down to build Easterland, a place where it can be Easter every day in the most superficial way possible. Oh, and he plans to tear it down on Easter Sunday. That night, Nezer is first visited by the spirit of his grandmother. At risk of offending religious parents, she is explicitly stated to be a vision and not a real ghost. And then by an angel named Hope, voiced by Christian singer Rebecca St. James. She plays the role of the spirit's past, present, and future, and shows Nezer the error of his ways, convincing him to forego his plans to demolish the church and embrace what Easter truly means. This was an overall pretty solid production, until a few points at the end where it kind of fell apart. Nezer was well done as a Scrooge archetype here, not truly a bad person, just a very headstrong individual who is always convinced he's right, despite lots of evidence against that. We've all known someone like that, and it's nice to be reminded that deep down they're still people too. Or still vegetables too, or something. Speaking of people versus vegetables, the Angel of Hope is a humanoid figure, and Jesus Christ himself appears in the stained glass windows of the church at one point, also portrayed as a human. I'm sure this was an intentional choice. If they had made him a cabbage or something, it would have been unintentionally hilarious. Well, it is somewhat distracting to see a straight-up human in the series. It was either that or not show him at all, so I think the animators definitely chose the lesser evil here. As I mentioned, Hope is voiced by Rebecca St. James, who does a passable job, although I think she sounds better as a singer than a voice actor. I've certainly heard worse celebrity performances, but I think there was just a little something missing from her reading. But hey, it's better than they had one of the Duck Dynasty guys on the show later on. The songs weren't my favorite in the VeggieTunes catalog, but they all did well to move the story along, and one was an homage to the Rock Island opening of The Music Man, so it's always nice to hear a good musical theater reference. There's a lot of emotion in this episode, especially with Junior Asparagus in the Tiny Tim role. Yes, Junior, who's meant to be the audience surrogate, is shown as a dying child. That took some major cherries to do. Little food joke there. Of course, Junior's gonna be fine at the end, and in terms of Tiny Tim you feel for, he's not quite Robin the Frog, but he's up there. And hey, they're both green. So, I've been beating around the bush. Let's just cut to the part that didn't quite sit right with me. As I said, Nezer's endgame is to demolish the church on Easter to make an Easter theme park. Obviously, it's symbolic for how the commercialization of these holidays takes away from their actual meaning. So, of course, we see the bad future where the church is gone. Suddenly, the orphans, who were well taken care of in the orphanage, are on the street, and crime is implied to run rampant because the one on-duty police officer is a coward without the church's teachings. Never mind the fact that that cop didn't seem that effective in the present day with the church's help.
Officer down.
I'm sorry, Jerry Gord. You almost got to do something. We can't all be Jimmy. I get that in stories for kids, sometimes you need to be heavy-handed, but I thought this was pushing things a tiny bit. While tearing down a place of worship to build an amusement park is most definitely a wrong, scummy, downright sinful thing to do, I think it would have been better if they showed how the people gradually lost faith at the injustice of something happening like that, rather than have everyone roughly 1 year later do a huge 180 and start acting like terrible people. It was just a clunky way of getting the message across. Still, with their otherwise really solid track record of teaching these kinds of lessons, I think I can forgive Big Idea for this misstep. The other minor misstep came after Nezzer wakes up. There's an action sequence where he and Bob the Tomato have to escape from the exploding factory due to the overworked, overheating mechanical chickens, who lay the plastic eggs. It felt really tacked on, especially in a Christmas Carol retelling, but I'm sure the kids liked it. I stopped watching VeggieTales around when the Jonah movie came out because I was starting to outgrow it. Thus, I never saw the Easter Carol until recently, and I did enjoy it. Not sure how much I would have liked it as a preteen due to, well, various reasons, but as an adult, I think it's pretty alright. When it comes to stories about the evils of chocolate bunnies, though, I'll stick to Rack, Shack, and Benny, which was famous for having a song about why idolatry is bad, that had to be censored in later releases because it got the point across too well or something. Life is weird like that sometimes.
I won't go to church, and I won't go to school. That stuff is for sissies, but bunnies are cool.
Okay, that was a look at VeggieTales Easter Carol. As always, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have a favorite Veggie character or episode, please let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching.